Well, welcome back to the Word, the Expanded Gospels edition, right? We are in Matthew. We are in chapter 13. We just talked about the parable of the weeds, right? Now we're going to go to a very familiar section starting in verse 31. It talks about mustard and yeast. So read this with me. He put another parable before them, saying the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it is grown, it is larger than all the garden plants. It becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and they make nests in the branches. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven that a woman took and hid in 3 measures of flour till it was all leavened. Right? This little tiny section is so profound and so powerful because God takes the little and grows it into a lot. He takes the loaves and fishes and feeds thousands with them, right? So we need to be really, really careful. I was just telling the guys down here again today, we put out these little videos. Sometimes they get several views. Sometimes they get lots of views, right? It just depends on the moment. But God takes our little gift and he breaks it apart and he expands it. Right? He puts it in places that we would never expect it. Some of our videos down here go all across the world. People are using them from one end of the world to the other end of the world, right? For teaching people. And so you take this little tiny room and this little tiny building and this little tiny area, and God does with it what he wants to do with it. That's why we need to not despise the little things. Right? We need to make sure that we're ready for that little comment that makes a person's day. And then they go and they influence lots and lots of people. Heard lots of stories over the years of people who are in business, CEOs, managers, right? Vice presidents, people like that. And it's funny how often a little act of kindness from somebody underneath them will change their view, their perspective, their day. And then that affects thousands and thousands of people. So we need to be careful. We need to understand that, listen, when you're driving through the McDonald's drive-thru and you say something kind, really, to the person who's serving you, hey, just thanks for serving me today. That person's whole day can change and how they affect the next person and the next person and the next person and the next person. You understand how this works. This is such a great, great, great principle. Your thankfulness, how you interact with a person could affect thousands of people and you don't even know it. We're coming on busy Christmas season, right? Lots of opportunity to do these kind of things. Like just take an extra second and say thank you to whoever's serving you. Just do that and see what God does with that, right? What can God do with a little? Hey, chew on that for a little bit. We'll see you next time right here on the Word Expanded, the Gospels.